So that's kind of it's an interesting question because we do position ourselves between a lot of other bigger stacks like Hortonworks, etc., that have figured out, hey, how can we make something that makes big data feasible? Because without any framework, it's apparently too hard. Which makes sense because you have a lot of components, they all need to run together, they need to cooperate, it's not the simplest way of doing it, or the simplest thing to do. With BDE we have a platform that is intrinsically extensible, so we don't necessarily compete with them in the way that they intend to be competed on, I suppose. We intend to be flexible, so that means we want to make it easy to integrate your own stuff and easy to get started with new stuff. And I think there's a very big difference. With Big Data Europe, it should be your fastest way to get started and to try out new technologies. You may not know by heart whether you should use Hadoop, Spark, Flink, what have you. And probably you can't know all of them, it's too hard. And that was one of the challenges of BDE. How can we make that simpler? So with BDE, I installed this platform and I can try to do something in Spark and go through the tutorials that I find online, and I can try to run something on it. I can do the same thing with Flink, and I can do the same thing with Hadoop. So you can't make the best decision from a get-go, but you can easily experiment with it. And then this platform will evolve with you through the whole section, from learning that thing and then figuring out what your best options are, to getting to know it better in depth, to actually running your real-life applications on a swarm with many nodes. So it follows you in that whole life cycle. And then there's this, because we have that, this nice little tidbit saying we are a platform that makes it the easiest, I think, of the big data platforms to run your own custom software on. And that's rather an important thing, because it's not so simple to encounter cases where you have a complete greenfield. You always integrate with some data sources, with some external components. You want to expose the information in one way or another, and that's going to be a custom interface. And that's just ridiculously simple with BDE. And because we've optimized for that sort of, you could call it a researchy case, and it really helps researchers, but it's also the thing that is missing, I suppose, in many big data platforms, that flexibility.